Hi, this is Dr. Paul O'Malley with Great Oral Health, Inc., and I wanted to talk to you today about bad breath. What a subject. People know about it, people talk about it, but nobody wants to have it. Okay, so what causes it? Where does it come about? Etc. I'm going to talk about that today. Now, first thing to know is about 85 to 90%, and maybe even as high as 95% of the bad smells and things that come from a person's mouth is coming from their mouth. Another 5 to 7 or maybe even 10% might be systemic, meaning there's something wrong with the body, one or more of the organs of the body, and through their lungs, etc., they're breathing out some byproduct of that breakdown. In today's subject, we're going to be talking about the mouth being the sole source. And when I say the mouth, let's extend that to the entire oral cavity, because the mouth can accumulate things that come from postnasal drip, so from the sinuses to the back of the throat. Every time we breathe, that's what's coming out. So what is that air that we're breathing that comes out? It's basically a combination. We have bacteria that live on the back of our tongue and our entire mouth, all the way down through our esophagus, all the way down through the stomach and its exodus. Okay, so we now know we coexist with these bacteria. So a lot of these foul breaths that we smell are actually coming from accumulation of these bacteria in the mouth and back of the mouth, and the vast majority come from the back of the tongue. Because the back of the tongue is hard to keep clean, we don't see it, it's hidden, and it forms sometimes a little coating. A person can stick their tongue out, and if you see a little white coating on there, it's probably several millimeters thick of different types of bacteria. And I have on our chart here today some of the stinkier bacteria. We call these volatile sulfur compounds, or VSCs for short. So every time a person says, "Hi, Sally, how are you?" or says hello, they're breathing out what the byproduct of these bacteria are. The bacteria, basically, they have a byproduct. It's when they excrete their excesses, it comes out, and many of it comes out in a volatile, gassy, permeable state. And that's what we smell. And everybody has it, by the way. Fortunately, we don't smell at a high enough level that we can detect it in everyone. Thank goodness, because even a person that doesn't have quote-unquote bad breath will still have, probably to their pet or the dog, they can be identified because they have a certain odor to them. Okay, so how do we keep the levels low enough so that our friends, our loved ones, our neighbors aren't repelled by us? And there's a way, but first let's understand the mechanism. So on the back of the mouth, what can accumulate over a period of time, literally hours, bacteria. If you nuked everything out of there, within 4 hours, the whole mouth is recoded again with the same bacterial count. If you're not putting a good oral probiotic in the mouth, it's going to actually come back more with the harmful or the stinkier type of bacteria. Most of those we call anaerobic. That means they can stay in a place that they survive without oxygen. There's other means by which they survive, whereas some of the less harmful ones need oxygen to survive. So they're going to be close to the surface, because every time we breathe, they're getting their form of oxygen in. So the anaerobic oxygen, also when they excrete their byproduct, basically when they go to the bathroom, that's what bacteria do. It's basically the excretion byproducts are very low in acidity, so they're rather acidic. They create more of an acidic environment, which accumulates more of those harmful bacteria. They tend to accumulate right in the back of the tongue. You have to really stick your tongue out, and you'll see it at the back where it's coated. And it's a combination of food particles, those bacteria, and also saliva that's dried out. Elderly people can have a more strong or stinky breath than younger because they're more dehydrated, they have less saliva in their mouth, or they're taking medications which drops the amount of buffering of the saliva. It accumulates in the back, and we can get such smells And you've probably identified this. You know, someone has bad breath, but it smells this way or that way. It's coming from different types of bacteria. You know, one can have sort of a rotten cabbage smell. Another one can have rotten eggs. That's a heavy sulfur smell. The other could be like something died, dead meat. And or it could be like bad fish. All these come with their own little interesting terms that they have with it. The old cabbage is a methyl mercaptan. You know, it's a nice fancy word, but ultimately it's from an imbalance in bacteria. The more harmful bacteria, let's say, or the bad or pathogenic disease-causing bacteria have just gone out of control. And they've been left to accumulate. They got buried under these films, what we call biofilms of bacteria, in layers and layers. And then the ones at the bottom become anaerobic, and they outgas these foul smells. So now that you know about it, well, what do you think you do? Well, you can go in there with a brush, a tongue brush, and clean it. That kind of helps, but you disturb it a little bit, you're not going to get all the biofilms out. You can go in with a fancy tongue cleaner, which I highly recommend. It should be a daily routine to cleanse that surface out. You can gargle and clean. But again, those are all methods to try to eradicate all the bacteria. So some of that should take place, but also to really handle this area here, we want to switch the bacteria to a more healthy population. If we get a more healthy population, theoretically it just stands to pan out that you'll have healthier, fresher breath. Not maybe to your dog or someone that smells a million times better than humans, but from human to human. Now there's one other thing I want to point out. If you do some of the things where you clean the back of your tongue, you've brushed your teeth, you're flossing, you're really doing the right things. You're taking an oral probiotic to clean that out, and after weeks there's still a problem there, then it is worthy to go see your dentist and have things checked, because cavities can cause bad breath because it's an area where things can hide. And even if you put probiotics in, it's very hard for them to get to that level. Also, gum disease. So sometimes a good cleaning goes a long way. Clean all this stuff out, and then you can improve upon it. The other thing is, if you have a diet high in methionine or cysteine, these are amino acids, sulfur groups, very high in those things, it could contribute because those combine and these bacteria love them, and that's what they off-gas, and that's what creates that rotten egg smell. So there's things from your diet that you can improve upon, and also you want to check your supplements. Are they loaded with those things? If you're taking a methionine amino acid supplement, you may get more foul breath as a result. So just something to look at. Okay, I hope this helps. Thank you.